The advisor to the Minister of Health in Guyana made a scathing statement attacking firstly the leader of the opposition in Guyana and the chairman of CARICOM, Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. The leader of the opposition, who is supported by Keith Rowley and his financiers, strategists, political financiers, political strategists, and political advisors, while they were in government and while Guyana went through the most embarrassing period in its history, with a sitting government trying to openly and overtly corrupt the democratic process in full view of the world and the entire globe, including USA, Europe, Canada, everyone, all in the CARICOM, mere motley, everybody came down on the total overt attempt to pervert the course of democracy in Guyana. There were PNM supporters and strategists there working with that team. Lovell Francis, on the night of the election, posted gleefully that the UNC dunces had lost an election in Guyana. Not what he talking about. Me ain't care nothing about no election in Guyana, that Guyana business. God bless Guyana. But that was Lovell Francis. Andrew Gabriel, how you going, brother? Were you over there? Were you in Guyana at any time? Nancy Scope was over there, the lady who oversaw our election without observers when Rowley lied about the Commonwealth observers. And then this, now, Amory Brown. Put it up big. I don't want to see me. I want to read Amory Brown. So the Chamber of Industry, the Georgetown Chamber of Industry and Commerce, came out, and I'll read what they said. But Amory Brown came out today. You can't put it up big, Archie, I'm there again slow, not the back screen, the thing. Right. Ironically, the Stakeholders Summit we issued by the Georgetown Chamber mere days after the Prime Minister Rowley instructed relevant right. And he goes on to say, so what he basically said, that the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs strongly condemns the published falsehoods against Prime Minister Rowley by Dr. Ramsamy and the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and calls upon the authorities in Guyana to dissociate themselves from such unwarranted, scurrilous, and disrespectful attacks on the sitting chairman of CARICOM. Move that nonsense, you know. So, actually, I find him moving slow, boy, and you don't even drink rum. So, let me not read what Georgetown Chamber said yet. Let's go to what Keith Christopher Rowley said. You ready? Run the video. Here, Rowley.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to indicate to you that the vaccination program in Trinidad and Tobago is as good as and probably better than most, certainly in the CARICOM and worldwide. And for that basis, I want to bring you up to date on where we at as a member of CARICOM. I brought a table here to show you what our position is. And I would ask you to look at the third column, which says total vaccines received by country. And there are 14 CARICOM countries there and 5 CARICOM associates. Of the 14 CARICOM countries, the only country in CARICOM that has received into its borders more vaccines than Trinidad and Tobago is Guyana. And the reason for that is that Guyana took a decision which we did not take. I've raised that at this platform before, but I'll raise it again. The Guyana government took a decision that Trinidad and Tobago did not take, and that is, early in the proceedings, to use vaccines that were not approved by the World Health Organization. As a result of that, Guyana had a larger volume of vaccines available. We did not participate in that, and that explains it. So if one is looking at WHO approved vaccines, it would be clear that Trinidad and Tobago got within its border more vaccines than any other CARICOM country. And that includes Jamaica, that has twice the population of Trinidad and Tobago.
Let's go through this carefully now. What Keith Christopher Rowley attempted to do there, took his time and developed charts, took his time and developed an idea, wrote points down on a piece of paper, was to basically say that despite everybody with eyes open, ears open, nose open, and with a brain in the head, who could see that Trinidad and Tobago, with a population of 1.39 million people and 150,000 illegal immigrants, that we were well behind the 8 ball. Our vaccination program was non-existent, late, and we were dying. Secondly, Trinidad and Tobago had an influx of the Brazilian variant, and we were suffering, and our death rate was the highest. The Trinidad and Tobago government was being frowned upon, and everyone was looking at us as total incompetence. Everybody knew that per capita we were the worst, and our vaccination program was the slowest. Even the Guardian of Rowley's Capax had to say that. The Express was saying that. Even Judy Raymond in the news, they had to admit that we were pathetic. Rowley came to a press conference to make the case that we are not pathetic, we are number one. And what he then did was attack the country that actually was number one, Guyana. Guyana was number one in every aspect of the vaccination program, based on the population, based on the variety of vaccines arrived in the country, based on the injection and jabs into people, based on their policy, based on how they were moving, their borders were open, the airport was open. Guyana was handling COVID-19 far better than Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago was not even in the race in the CARICOM, because after Guyana you would have Barbados, you would have Antigua, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent with volcano was better than us. But Rowley came to make a case that he was not incompetent, that he was good, that his care and attention, his attention to detail was that great. Take down that, it distracted me. Was that great that he was making the case that he was not an incompetent fool, and that those who were trying to say, based on science, statistics, numbers, importance, communication, jabs and preparation, quick jabs per day, that he had to bring down Guyana. What was his argument that he made there? That Guyana was only, first of all, he went to an overall total number, not understanding that Barbados or Grenada with a population of 105,000 does not require as much as us. And if they have 40,000, that's 40% of the population. And if we have 100,000, that's only what? 7% of the population, if so much, and that wasn't even injected into people, that just land, because we can't even get a system to smoothly inject our people. So what was the argument that Keith Rowley was making? He said that he and Trinidad and Tobago, his government, his PNM government, stuck with the science pristinely, that they stuck with WHO, and WHO approval is the be-all and end-all of safe vaccination. Low risk, low possibility of death and devastating effects. He implied from that position that Guyana took the decision not to be as careful as he was, not to take the citizens' health as seriously as he did. He claimed by insinuation and argument that Guyana, by not accepting or waiting for this WHO approval, they were able to take a higher risk and move forward to vaccinate their population. And that he, Keith Rowley, was not willing to take that risk and put his citizens under such threat. That is a blatant, nonsensical attack on the Guyanese government. So what is Amory Brown talking about? Dr. Ramsamy didn't lie. He listened to Rowley. He heard what he said. And he took offense as he should. Because all over the globe, the USA did not wait for WHO. All over the world, they didn't wait for WHO. Trinidad and Tobago did not wait for WHO. Rowley lied, because the first 2,000 that we got from Mia Amor Motley, that he and the minister lie and say was not a gift, and then it was a gift, but it was a collection center here, and it did all that nonsense. Those first 2,000 were not WHO approved. The Guyana has used Sputnik. Sputnik has shown across the world to be 93%. It is as good as Pfizer. It's getting or going to get WHO approval. And when it does, it means that the Guyanese government was proactive and saved the lives of the citizens. Guyana shares a border with Venezuela, huge border, but they are not dying like us. We go into the ICU and we die. Over 700 citizens have died. And you criticize Guyana? Guyana has handled the COVID-19 response brilliantly. You lay back, left us to die, left us with porous borders, kept our citizens out of the country, kept the borders closed to citizens, oppressed their constitutional rights, and we are dying. Our parallel healthcare system is overwhelmed. There are super spreader events and possible infections that will go higher after June 23rd, and you come on a press conference to claim that you are number one and concoct figures just like Davlin Thomas tried to concoct figures when he lied on Dr. Don Martin and said Dr. Don Martin asked for the transfer and rotation of senior specialists when he did not. Davlin Thomas then went to say that since his maneuver, 60% deaths were reduced by 60% at Cuba, and patients getting well was increased by 25%. The same fabrication, machination, concoction, and misinformation and analysis of statistics. Your entire press conference, Keith Christopher Rowley, was to try and uplift your incompetence to a level of sanity by yourself in your own mind, by bringing down, denigrating, and casting aspersions on the government of Guyana, by insinuating that they were irresponsible and took too great a risk that you would never take, of injecting their citizens without this WHO approval. Even though Guyana has its own approval mechanism and has its own specialist doctors who are not run by a playwright who can analyze vaccines, and they got a cocktail of vaccines all around. They were also using the Sinopharm before us. So they were brighter than you because you say the Sinopharm is the best thing. It's the greatest thing. Forget that we can't go to the UK. They got Sinopharm and were injecting Sinopharm before us because you were waiting, you say, for WHO approval. So what exactly are you saying, Amory Brown? That the Georgetown chamber lied and scurrilous attacks? Rowley came with concocted statistics to try to obfuscate and change the clear picture of his total, abject, dangerous criminal negligence, and cast aspersions on the decision-making process of the government of Guyana. And he is the sitting chair of CARICOM, the most disrespected chair, because Gaston Brown, Holness, Miamor Motley, everybody doing their own thing, not going through him because they realize he on Tata. And you dare say that Rowley didn't say that? So what was he saying? What was his entire argument? His entire argument was that Trinidad and Tobago's vaccination program under Keith Christopher Rowley is fantastic. And Guyana, while they have higher numbers of injected jabs, first dose and double dose, with a smaller population, 50% of our population, that they are not outperforming us. They don't have grannies and grandpas in rain sitting down getting pneumonia. They don't have people crowded at 36 health centers jamming up and causing super spreader. They didn't call people to come into the Amazon River and go to Kaita Falls for Easter to spread. They don't have Brazilian variant killing them once they reach in the ICU. But Rowley went to cast aspersions on their decision making. He was fast and out of place. He was wrong. Finally, Amory Brown, what was that press conference all about anyway? What was the topic about? Who cares? Who cares? We're talking about Trinidad and Tobago. You are the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Your prime minister take a whole analysis to try to tell me that CARICOM, who open, having carnival, making money, we shut down, locked down, and broke down. We dead in, we dying, and we don't know what to do. That we better off than them. And you came to convince us that we better off than them, though we are living in pain and tragedy, because they didn't wait for WHO approval. The whole developed world didn't wait for WHO approval. The whole developed world knew that COVID-19 pandemic presented two problems, and you had to be creative, you had to mitigate risk, and you had to move and be decisive. There's the health risk with deaths, and then there's the economic disaster, devastation from loss of jobs, starvation, and putting people into poverty, people losing their assets and their life savings. Those who care understood that. And so world economies are moving now because them didn't wait for no WHO. Them start to inject because they each have their own scientific analysis, their own scientific agencies that approve, analyze, and so on. Guyana has that. Guyana approved Sputnik. Sputnik is working. Guyana, it shows their government was proactive and doing very well. Their people are saving. They are living. We are dying. You are a clone. So, Amory Brown, get your head clear out of Rowley's K-Pax now. You done name Brown. You're going to Brown nose? My goodness, what a total disgrace. So I don't need to tell you all what the Georgetown Chamber of Industry and Commerce said. They said that Rowley was fast and out of place, and as the chair of CARICOM, to cast aspersions on the government decision-making in Guyana with regards to vaccines like Sputnik 5 that were not WHO approved was irresponsible, malicious, unnecessary, and disrespectful, and that is what it is. It's true. Just to show all you, while we know what's going on here, and anybody who could tell me that what's going on here is not the same as total garbage, total disrespect, total chaos, well then I wish you all the best. Look at Guyana. Look what Guyana has done. Just show a little bit now.